Have you ever found yourself wondering what's really going on in the minds of the men in your life? Maybe you've questioned why your partner pulls away when you try to talk, or why he seems to light up after a small compliment. You're not alone. These moments can feel like puzzles, leaving you searching for answers. Imagine this. You've just asked your husband for his opinion on a decision at home, but instead of giving input, he brushes it off with a casual, "Whatever you think is best." Frustrated, you wonder, why won't he open up to me? This common scenario might not be about disinterest. It could stem from something much deeper. Something rooted in how men process emotions and interpret respect. In this video, we'll unravel 10 surprising psychological facts about men that will not only help you understand these behaviors, but also transform how you connect with the men in your life. These are not just theories. They're actionable insights grounded in Stoic philosophy and designed to create stronger, more fulfilling relationships. And here's the best part. What you'll learn today can make a lasting impact, whether it's about building emotional intimacy, mastering clear communication, or deepening trust through shared experiences. So, grab your favorite drink and settle in. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to decode his thoughts and emotions like never before. Don't forget to share your thoughts. Have you experienced these truths, or do you have others to add? Let's dive in. 1. Men value respect above all else. Respect. It's not just a word, it's the language through which men understand love. In relationships, men don't merely crave affection or grand gestures. They seek acknowledgement, validation, and trust. When you respect his ideas, his decisions, or even his smallest efforts, you speak directly to his heart. But why is respect so critical to men? At their core, many men equate respect with worth. It's not about ego, it's about feeling valued. When he feels dismissed, perhaps through a joke that belittles his choices or a casual disregard for his opinions, he may withdraw emotionally. This behavior is not meant to punish, but to protect. Disrespect for him is like walking on shaky ground. It shakes his sense of stability and connection. Now picture this. He offers a suggestion about organizing a family event. It's simple, maybe even practical, but you brush it off saying, "I've got this." He doesn't argue, yet later, he seems distant, less involved. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that, in that moment, he felt unseen, his value diminished. When you recognize this, you don't just understand him better, you elevate your connection. By valuing his thoughts, you show him his presence matters, and that to him is love. Imagine your response in such moments. What if, instead of dismissing his idea, you responded with, "I hadn't thought of it that way. Let's try it." Picture his expression, a mix of pride and relief. Your validation might seem small, but to him, it's everything. You create a safe space where he feels appreciated, and in return, his actions will reflect that deeper bond. This ties beautifully with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to honor the intrinsic dignity of others. Epictetus once said that people are not disturbed by things, but by their view of them. When you choose to see his input as valuable rather than a challenge to your independence, you strengthen the partnership. Stoicism isn't just about emotional resilience, it's about fostering respect as a foundation for harmony. Let's revisit the earlier. You've asked for his opinion about a significant home project, and instead of simply nodding along, you acknowledge his suggestion. That's a solid point. I didn't see it that way before. Not only does this approach encourage him to engage more deeply, but it also fosters trust. By validating him, you're indirectly showing that his presence enriches your decision-making. Now let's turn the spotlight to you. What if, in a different scenario, you're in a heated moment and he seems defensive? Instead of reacting sharply, you pause and acknowledge his perspective. "I see where you're coming from, and I respect that. Here's how I feel." This shift from confrontation to understanding transforms the energy between you. Respect doesn't mean losing your voice. It's about creating balance. This practice of respect, rooted in both action and intent, aligns with Stoic ideals of self-control and mutual elevation. It also empowers you. When you show respect, you're not just building him up, you're showing the world your ability to nurture relationships with grace and depth. True strength lies in lifting others, and in doing so you shine even brighter. So now it's your turn. Reflect on a recent interaction. Did you validate or dismiss? How can you embrace respect as a tool for growth in your relationship? Share your experiences in the comments. Together, let's learn how to elevate love through understanding and dignity. 2. Compliments are their silent confidence boosters. Compliments hold a unique power. For men, they are more than just words. They are affirmations that quietly build their confidence and sense of self-worth. A simple, specific acknowledgement can light up his entire day, making him feel seen and appreciated in ways he might not openly express. Compliments are not about flattery. They are about validation. Why does this matter so much? For many men, compliments are rare. Society often expects men to project strength and competence, leaving little space for acknowledgement or praise. When you take the time to notice his efforts, be it his problem-solving skills or his thoughtful actions, you're giving him a moment of recognition that resonates deeply. It's like planting seeds of encouragement. They grow quietly but firmly in his mind. Imagine him solving a tricky issue at work. He doesn't brag about it, but you catch a glimpse of his efforts. Instead of letting it pass, you say, "The way you handled that was incredibly thoughtful. It made a difference." Watch how his face softens and his shoulders relax. Compliments like this not only build his confidence, but also deepen your bond. He feels supported, and in turn, he's inspired to bring his best self into your relationship. Now think about the impact on you. By offering a sincere compliment, you're not just uplifting him, you're cultivating a relationship rooted in mutual respect. It's a subtle yet powerful way to remind yourself of the qualities that drew you to him. This practice elevates both partners, creating a dynamic where love and admiration thrive. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the strengths of others as a way to build connections and foster goodwill. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the virtues of those around him, using their strengths as lessons for his growth. Complimenting your partner aligns with this principle. By appreciating his qualities, you nurture not only his growth but also your shared journey. Picture this. A couple is sitting on their porch after a long day. She notices how her husband quietly fixed a broken chair without being asked. Instead of just thanking him, she says, "I admire how you always find a way to solve things. It shows how much you care about our home." It's a small moment, but one that lingers. He feels valued and she feels closer to him. Now consider this in a broader sense. Imagine you're in the early stages of dating. You notice how he picks a restaurant that caters to your dietary preferences, or remembers a small detail you mentioned weeks ago. Instead of assuming it's routine, you say, "I love how thoughtful you are. It's rare to see someone pay such close attention." This not only makes him feel special, but also sets the tone for a relationship built on appreciation and attentiveness. Stoic wisdom reminds us that words, when used wisely, carry immense power. A compliment, when delivered with sincerity, becomes a tool of connection and trust. It strengthens the relationship without grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's a practice of mindful observation and intentional speech, both core tenets of Stoicism. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you genuinely praised your partner? How did he respond? And how did it make you feel? Share your thoughts and experiences below. Let's celebrate the quiet strength of thoughtful compliments and the ways they bring us closer together. 3. Men are drawn to confident and independent partners. Confidence isn't just about walking into a room with your head held high. It's about knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. For men, confidence in a partner is magnetic because it reflects self-worth and emotional stability. When combined with independence, it creates a powerful dynamic. A woman who embraces her individuality and pursues her passions becomes not just a partner but an inspiration. Why does this matter to men? Deep down, they admire strength and resilience. An independent woman who values herself doesn't rely on external validation, and that's captivating. Men are drawn to this energy because it challenges them to grow and meet her on the same level. It's not about competition, it's about mutual respect. When you live a life filled with purpose, you radiate a sense of fulfillment. Imagine how that feels to a man. A woman who is confident in her decisions, pursues her interests, and doesn't mold her happiness around him. It's refreshing and intriguing. He sees someone who is not just a partner but also an equal, capable of enriching his life while maintaining her own. This ties closely to Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote about self-reliance and inner strength as virtues that elevate our character. Confidence and independence aren't about shutting others out. They're about being grounded enough to invite others into your life without losing yourself. Think of a kite in the wind. Its beauty lies in its ability to soar, yet it's firmly tethered. You are that kite, free to explore the skies of your passions while maintaining the balance that keeps you connected to what matters. A man watching that kite isn't just drawn to its elegance, he admires the strength it takes to stay aloft. Now, imagine this in a romantic context. Let's say you're meeting someone new. Instead of centering the conversation around his achievements, you share your own interests with excitement. You tell him about your recent hike to a scenic mountain or your plans to take a pottery class. Your passion draws him in because it reveals your depth and curiosity. This doesn't just impress him, it creates a dynamic where mutual discovery becomes the foundation of your connection. In established relationships, this principle is equally vital. If you've been married for years, you might worry that independence could create distance. But the opposite is often true. When you take time for yourself, whether it's through hobbies, friendships, or career pursuits, you remind your partner of the person they fell in love with. Independence isn't a wall. It's a bridge to deeper admiration. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and sense of purpose. When you embody this philosophy, your confidence and independence become unshakable. You're no longer swayed by insecurities or the need for constant reassurance. Instead, you exude a calm, steady energy that encourages your partner to step into his own strength. So if you find yourself questioning how to balance connection and independence, start by embracing your individuality. Pursue what lights you up, speak with conviction, and don't hesitate to share your passions. Not only does this empower you, but it also sets a standard of authenticity and mutual respect in your relationships. What about you? Have you experienced the magnetic pull of confidence and independence in your life or relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's explore how these qualities can transform connections and create lasting harmony. 4. They feel fulfilled when they are needed. Men find purpose in being needed. It's woven into their emotional fabric. While they might not always express it, the feeling of contributing to someone else's happiness or success brings them a sense of fulfillment and connection. When a man knows that his actions, advice, or support have meaning to you, it deepens his emotional investment in the relationship. This isn't about dependence, it's about significance. Why does this resonate so deeply with men? Historically and psychologically, men have been conditioned to see themselves as providers and protectors. While modern roles have evolved, the need to feel useful remains. When their efforts are recognized and valued, it reaffirms their worth and strengthens the bond they share with you. Ignoring this instinct can lead to frustration or withdrawal, not because they're indifferent, but because they feel unappreciated. Imagine this scenario. You're working on a project at home, and he notices you struggling with an idea. He offers a suggestion, but you're in a hurry and say, "I'll figure it out." His face softens, but you can sense a subtle retreat in his energy. This moment isn't just about the suggestion, it's about his desire to contribute and feel valued. Next time, try something different. Say, "That's an interesting idea. Let's explore it together." Watch his demeanor shift as he feels included and appreciated. For you, this can be a moment of profound connection. Acknowledging his input doesn't diminish your independence, it elevates the partnership. When you involve him in decisions or challenges, you're not just showing that you value his contributions, you're also reinforcing the idea that he makes your life richer. This aligns closely with Stoic philosophy. Epictetus emphasized the value of meaningful relationships where individuals contribute to one another's growth. Recognizing and valuing someone else's efforts isn't a weakness, it's a strength that fosters harmony and mutual respect. By showing him he matters, you're practicing the Stoic principle of acting with intention and understanding. Let's visualize this idea through a metaphor. Think of your relationship as a garden. Each partner waters and nurtures it in different ways. If one side is ignored, the garden begins to wither. But when both contribute, it thrives, blooming into something neither could achieve alone. His sense of being needed is like sunlight, essential to the growth of the partnership. Now consider a broader example. You're early in a relationship, and he offers to help you solve a problem, perhaps assembling a piece of furniture. You could brush it off thinking, "I don't need his help," or you could invite him to join you. I'd love your input on this. I'm curious how you'd approach it. This small gesture opens a door to connection. It's not about the task itself. It's about creating a dynamic where both of you feel integral to the relationship's success. For those in long-term partnerships, this truth remains vital. If he seems distant, reflect on how often you've acknowledged his contributions recently. Have you sought his advice or thanked him for his efforts? A small shift in how you involve him can rekindle that sense of fulfillment and draw him closer. The Stoic takeaway here is simple. Nurture the value of interdependence. Embrace the fact that needing and valuing each other isn't a weakness. It's the foundation of a strong and balanced relationship. When you give him the space to contribute and acknowledge his efforts, you're not only enriching his experience, but also strengthening your bond in ways that last. What about your relationship? Have you noticed how he lights up when he feels needed? Share your experiences below. Your insights could inspire someone else to see their relationship in a new light. 5. Their emotional sensitivity is often hidden. Men feel deeply, but their emotions often remain beneath the surface. This isn't because they lack feelings or care less, it's because they approach emotions differently. Instead of verbalizing their thoughts immediately, they often process them internally. What may look like silence or distance is their way of navigating complex feelings, seeking balance before they open up. Many men grow up learning to associate vulnerability with weakness, shaping how they express their emotions as adults. They channel feelings through actions, fixing a problem, offering support, or creating solutions. It's not avoidance, it's a unique form of emotional communication. If he spends time engrossed in a task after a difficult day, it's his way of regaining control and composure. Understanding this creates a shift in how you perceive him. His quietness isn't rejection, it's reflection. When you honor his need for this space, you give him the security to share when he's ready. This small act of patience can transform your connection, showing him he's safe to express his emotions at his own pace. This principle echoes Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the value of self-restraint and understanding, teaching us to focus on what we can influence, our reactions, and patience. Supporting a man's emotional process means stepping back and creating an environment of trust without expectation. Picture this. He's had a rough day, and instead of sharing every detail, he quietly organizes the garage or takes a long drive. Instead of pressing him with questions, you offer him reassurance with a simple statement like, "I'm here when you're ready." Over time, this gentle patience fosters a deeper bond, one rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Now think about shared moments that naturally encourage connection. For instance, taking a walk together or tackling a shared hobby creates an environment where he feels comfortable opening up without pressure. These subtle opportunities allow him to express himself through actions or words, blending his need for emotional privacy with your desire for connection. Men's emotional sensitivity often surfaces in gestures, like taking care of something you casually mentioned, or making sure you're comfortable in a stressful moment. Recognizing these actions as reflections of his feelings strengthens your relationship. It's not about grand declarations, but consistent, thoughtful actions that speak volumes about his care. The wisdom of Stoicism reminds us not to force or control what is outside our reach. Instead, practice emotional resilience and create space for others to thrive in their authenticity. When you approach his emotional sensitivity with this perspective, you foster trust and depth, qualities that build lasting bonds. If he seems distant or introspective, take a moment to observe his actions instead of demanding answers. How might his behavior reflect his emotional state? By cultivating patience and focusing on your shared experiences, you build a relationship based on respect and understanding. Share your reflections below. What moments of quiet connection have deepened your bond with someone you care about? 6. Men respond well to clear and direct communication. Clarity is a gift in relationships. Men often prefer straightforward communication because it removes ambiguity and fosters trust. When you express your needs or concerns directly, it helps him understand you without having to decipher hidden meanings or read between the lines. This doesn't mean men lack emotional intelligence. It simply reflects a difference in how they process information. Directness creates clarity, which builds emotional safety. For many men, unclear communication can feel overwhelming or frustrating. Indirect hints or passive remarks may leave them confused, not because they don't care, but because they value actionable solutions over guesswork. Clear communication removes this barrier, showing him that you trust his ability to respond meaningfully. Think about a time when you were clear and direct. Instead of saying, "You never help me," you said, "I need help preparing dinner tonight. Can you chop the vegetables?" His response likely felt immediate and positive because he knew exactly what was expected of him. This isn't about controlling his actions. It's about fostering a partnership where both of you feel heard and understood. For you, speaking clearly and honestly isn't just about resolving conflict. It's a way to honor your needs while building respect in the relationship. When you express yourself without hesitation or fear of rejection, you embody confidence and emotional maturity. This clarity reflects your self-assurance and empowers the connection between you. This principle ties deeply into Stoicism. Epictetus taught the importance of using words with purpose, avoiding unnecessary complexity, and aligning speech with action. Stoicism emphasizes simplicity, not only in thought but in communication. When you speak with clarity and intention, you practice a form of emotional discipline that benefits both you and your partner. Let's visualize this with an example. Communication in a relationship is like driving in a fog. When the path ahead is unclear, every movement feels hesitant and tension builds. But when the fog clears and the road becomes visible, the journey feels smoother and more connected. Clear and direct communication is like turning on the headlights. It illuminates the way forward, allowing both of you to navigate challenges together. Now think about how this applies to dating or new relationships. If you're uncertain about where things are going, don't drop hints or test his reactions. Instead, ask directly, "I've really enjoyed spending time with you. How do you feel about us?" This honesty sets a tone of openness and invites a genuine conversation, reducing misunderstandings and strengthening trust. In long-term relationships, this approach remains crucial. If you need more support in household responsibilities or emotional connection, articulate your thoughts with specific examples. Instead of general statements like, "You don't prioritize me," say, "I'd love it if we could plan a date night this week. It's been a while since we had quality time together." Such clarity isn't just about getting what you want. It shows respect for both your needs and his. The Stoic lesson here is to use speech as a tool for building harmony. When you approach communication with honesty, purpose, and emotional control, you foster mutual respect. Clear words lead to clear understanding, which nurtures deeper connection and growth. What do you think? Have you noticed how direct communication has impacted your relationships? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Together, let's explore how clarity can transform the way we connect with the men in our lives. 7. Their actions speak louder than words. For men, love often manifests through actions, not elaborate words or declarations. A quiet act of kindness, a repaired chair, a hand placed gently on your shoulder, or a late-night run to grab something you need can express more than any string of romantic sentences. This is how they convey care, devotion, and commitment. It's a language of deeds, not speeches, and understanding this can transform how you interpret their love. Men are often wired to value practicality. Instead of engaging in drawn-out emotional discussions, they may focus on solving a problem or easing your burden as a way to show their love. When he acts rather than speaks, it's not because he lacks depth or doesn't care. It's because he believes his actions will have a more tangible impact. When you start recognizing these gestures for what they are, something beautiful happens. You stop longing for words you think are missing and begin appreciating the subtle, consistent ways he shows up for you. It's a profound realization that love doesn't always need to be said out loud. Sometimes it's in the steady presence, the thoughtful gestures, or the reliable strength that never wavers. This is deeply connected to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics emphasize the importance of aligning actions with values. Words can be fleeting, but actions carry weight and integrity. As Epictetus taught, what we do speaks volumes about who we are. Recognizing his actions as reflections of his feelings aligns with this wisdom, helping you focus on what truly matters. Imagine this. You're feeling overwhelmed with tasks at home. Without being asked, he steps in, fixing that broken shelf or taking over the evening's cooking. He doesn't make a big deal out of it, but his actions say, "I see you, and I'm here to support you." In that moment, his love isn't spoken. It's demonstrated in a way that leaves no room for doubt. This idea also applies to early connections. Suppose you're getting to know someone, and instead of showering you with compliments, he remembers your favorite coffee and surprises you with it. These small, intentional acts aren't just thoughtful. They're his way of showing that he's paying attention and values your happiness. If you acknowledge and appreciate these gestures, it not only encourages him to continue, but also strengthens your budding relationship. In long-term partnerships, understanding this dynamic becomes even more essential. Perhaps he's not the type to write long love letters, but he makes sure your car is always in good shape or wakes up early to brew your favorite tea. These are his declarations of love, expressed in the most practical and meaningful ways. By valuing these actions, you honor his unique way of connecting. The Stoic approach here is simple but profound. Focus on substance over form. Actions rooted in intention carry a sincerity that words sometimes cannot. By embracing this perspective, you not only deepen your understanding of his love, but also cultivate gratitude and emotional harmony within the relationship. How do you see love in his actions? What small gestures have spoken volumes to you? Share your reflections below. Let's explore together how appreciating this language of deeds can enrich our relationships and bring us closer to the men we cherish. They need space to recharge emotionally. Space is not absence, it's a sanctuary. For men, emotional recharging often comes from moments of solitude or personal time. This doesn't mean he's withdrawing or losing interest. It means he's resetting. When he takes this space, he's protecting his emotional energy, regaining clarity, and preparing to return fully present. Understanding this need transforms what might feel like distance into an act of self-care that benefits both of you. Men process stress and emotions differently from women. While women often seek connection and conversation to work through challenges, men tend to retreat inward. This is not a sign of avoidance, but a mechanism for finding balance. By stepping back, they create the mental room to reflect and recalibrate. When you honor this process, it fosters trust and emotional security. Imagine the frustration of feeling rejected because he seems distant after a challenging day. It's easy to interpret this as indifference, but in reality, he's taking the time he needs to center himself. When you shift your perspective to see his space as a means of strengthening your relationship rather than weakening it, you transform potential tension into deeper understanding. This principle reflects the Stoic philosophy of solitude and reflection. Seneca often wrote about the importance of stepping away from distractions to focus on one's inner life. Solitude is not isolation. It's a chance to grow stronger, to align actions with values, and to return to the world with renewed purpose. Supporting his need for space mirrors this wisdom. Picture this. He's had a particularly demanding week. Instead of coming home ready to talk, he chooses to spend the evening in his workshop or on the couch watching a quiet game. It feels like he's pulling away, but his actions show otherwise. The next day, he approaches you with a warm smile and a calm presence, ready to reconnect. By giving him the room to recharge, you've created a space where he feels supported rather than suffocated. Now consider a more generalized situation. Let's say you've recently started dating someone. After a few weeks of constant communication, he seems to slow down, taking longer to reply or initiating fewer plans. Instead of panicking or assuming the worst, you respect his rhythm. You use the time to focus on your passions, taking a yoga class, reconnecting with friends, or pursuing a personal project. When he reaches out, you're centered, vibrant, and ready to engage. This balance of independence and connection strengthens the foundation of your relationship. In a long-term partnership, this understanding is even more critical. If he seems quiet or withdrawn, resist the urge to fill the space with questions or worry. Instead, offer gentle reassurance. I'm here if you need me. Then, focus on your own emotional well-being. By doing so, you create a dynamic where both partners feel free to recharge without guilt or misunderstanding. The Stoic takeaway here is to embrace interdependence with grace. Just as you value moments of quiet reflection, he does too. By supporting his need for space, you're not only honoring his emotional process, but also nurturing your own strength and independence. This balance leads to a relationship grounded in mutual respect and growth. 9. Physical touch deepens their connection. Physical touch carries a profound emotional weight for men. It's not just a gesture, it's a language of connection. A gentle touch on the shoulder, a warm hug, or holding hands can communicate trust, affection, and understanding in ways that words cannot. For men, physical touch often serves as a bridge to deeper intimacy and emotional bonding. This need for physical connection stems from how men are often conditioned to process and express their emotions. While verbal expressions of love and vulnerability might feel unnatural or even intimidating to some, physical gestures are a natural and instinctive way to show care and build trust. Touch reassures them that they are valued, accepted, and safe in the relationship. When you embrace this perspective, his small gestures, reaching for your hand while walking or placing his arm around you during a quiet moment, take on a deeper meaning. These acts aren't mere habits, they are his way of showing his love and his desire to feel close to you. Recognizing this can transform the way you perceive his affection. This aligns seamlessly with Stoic philosophy, which values intentionality and the depth of small actions. The Stoics believe that the simplest gestures, when done with meaning, carry profound importance. A well-timed touch mirrors this belief, creating a moment of grounding and mutual presence that words might fail to achieve. Imagine a moment of tension after a disagreement. You both sit in silence, the room heavy with unspoken emotions. Then he places his hand over yours. It's a quiet, almost imperceptible act, but it conveys an entire world of meaning. His apology, his understanding, his desire to reconnect. In this moment, his touch isn't just a physical act, it's a gesture of emotional reconciliation. Let's take another scenario. Suppose you've just started seeing someone. After a pleasant evening, he brushes a strand of hair from your face as he says goodbye. It's a fleeting moment, but it holds significance. He's not simply showing physical attraction. He's signaling comfort and connection. By acknowledging and reciprocating such gestures, you encourage a deeper emotional bond. In established relationships, touch becomes even more vital as routines and responsibilities increase. A soft hug after a long day or a hand on his back as you pass by can remind him of the bond you share, even in the midst of everyday chaos. These small acts of physical connection are like drops of water on a stone. Over time, they carve out a deep and lasting intimacy. The Stoic approach to touch emphasizes its intentionality. It's not about frequent or overwhelming gestures, but about making each one meaningful. When you initiate touch deliberately and authentically, you signal emotional presence and strength. Touch becomes a tool for connection, not just a reflex. 10. They thrive on shared adventures. Men are invigorated by novelty and shared experiences. Adventure, whether big or small, sparks their sense of curiosity and builds emotional connections. For men, relationships grow stronger when they share moments of discovery and excitement. These experiences are not just about having fun, they create lasting bonds and memories that deepen trust and intimacy. This truth stems from the way men often process relationships through action rather than words. Adventure offers a way to express feelings without the vulnerability of sitting down to have a deep conversation. Exploring new places, trying a challenging activity, or simply breaking away from routine provides a chance to connect on a deeper level without forcing it. In these moments, he feels alive, engaged, and closer to you. When you recognize this, shared adventures stop being just fun outings and become tools for growth. They allow you to witness his courage, curiosity, and ability to navigate challenges, all while giving you space to shine too. It's a mutual exchange of energy, creating a dynamic where both of you feel supported and inspired. This perspective aligns beautifully with Stoic philosophy. The The Stoics believed in embracing the unpredictability of life and finding joy in the process. Adventure isn't just about the destination. It's about navigating the unexpected together, facing challenges with resilience, and celebrating shared victories. These experiences teach us to value presence and connection, both with ourselves and with others. Imagine this. You decide to plan a weekend hike to a nearby mountain trail. You might initially hesitate, preferring the comfort of a relaxing weekend at home. But as you trek together, navigating the uneven terrain, sharing water, and marveling at the views, something shifts. The shared effort creates a rhythm between you, one where words are less important than the energy you share. By the time you reach the summit, you've not only conquered the trail, but strengthened your bond. Now think about the early stages of dating. You've gone on a few dinner dates, but the energy feels a bit predictable. Instead of suggesting another meal, you propose something different. Kayaking on a quiet lake, or attending a live music event. These shared adventures break the monotony and give him a chance to experience a different side of you, one that's bold, spontaneous, and open to new experiences. This sparks curiosity and connection, creating a dynamic that keeps both of you engaged. In a long-term relationship, shared adventures can rekindle the spark. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Trying a new recipe together, exploring a part of your city you've never visited, or even stargazing in your backyard can create moments of connection that pull you closer. These experiences remind both of you of the joy that first brought you together. The Stoic lesson here is simple, yet profound. Embrace the unknown together. Life's greatest joys often come from stepping out of comfort zones and facing new challenges with an open heart. Shared adventures are an opportunity to practice resilience, adapt to change, and find joy in the present moment. All essential Stoic principles that strengthen your bond. Relationships are not about grand gestures, but the quiet, consistent ways we connect and understand one another. Through these psychological insights into men, we've explored how respect, action, space, and touch weave the threads of emotional intimacy. These are not just truths to learn, but tools to practice, refining the art of connection and building a foundation of trust and harmony. Every insight we've discussed, whether it's respecting his ideas, appreciating his actions, or embracing shared adventures, is an invitation to deepen your understanding of the men in your life. These lessons are not only about them, but also about you. They remind us that relationships thrive when both partners grow, communicate openly, and honor each other's unique needs. Practice these lessons daily. Start by listening more intently, acknowledging his efforts, or initiating a small but meaningful gesture like a touch or word of encouragement. These small acts, done consistently, create ripples that strengthen the bond you share. Through patience, intention, and presence, you can transform not only your relationships but also the way you experience love and connection. The wisdom of Stoic philosophy reminds us that growth comes from focusing on what we can control: our actions, words, and attitudes. By adopting these principles, you nurture an environment where both of you can thrive. Relationships, after all, are a journey, not a destination. With each step, you learn, adapt, and create moments of profound connection. What about you? Have you practiced any of these insights in your relationships? How have they changed the way you connect with the men in your life? Share your stories and reflections in the comments below. Your experiences could inspire others on their journey to stronger, more fulfilling relationships.